Hi, it's Mina from Flex Boots and Hidalgo Saddles in Australia. This is the last video on how to put your panels on. So I've got a dressage saddle this time and some dressage panels here. Now this saddle has the stitching line centered through the middle of the gullet, and it's got two other lines at an equal distance away from that. So we're going to use that as our guide. So we'll pop there, oh that's the right one, well actually the left one. Alright, so again this panel doesn't quite run the length of the saddle, so I'll set them forward a little, but the same with the Spanish saddle. So we're going to do a 4-finger channel width. I just like to use this, the width of this part of my hand as the guide, which means that the middle is about there. So I'm going to put the stitching line sort of in between those two fingers. I can't tip these as much because they fall, but hopefully this kind of shows. So there, and then I'm just going to stick the panel down aligned with my index finger here. So just stick the back of it down. We'll do the front after, and I'll swap hands and just line that stitching line with that same gap in my fingers. Make sure one panel is not more forward or back than the other. And you know, once you take your hand out, you just do a final little check that you're okay. And then at the front, now we're going to fan these panels out, and I'm actually going to use this line of stitching and this line as my reference. So I'm going to go about 3/4 of the way up between these two lines. And this is, you know, this may or may not be right for your horse, but this is a good default starting position. If you don't have the stitching lines to follow, you just kind of, you're fanning the panel out a little bit at the front, but just really gently, like not excessively pulling it sort of down. And then, you know, you'd have a look from the front. I always do. I'm just at the back here because it's easier for the video. But you know, then you have a look from the front and make sure that you're level, and you can have a look from here too and just make sure that, you know, you've got the same amount of Velcro kind of visible on either side of the center seam, which I think I've got it pretty good there, I think, like that. So you start from here and then adjust as necessary. Now the dressage saddles, this is a special series saddle. It has stacks of spinal clearance, but they're built a little differently, so they can feel a bit lower in the front. So if it feels like it's too low in the front, you need to walk and trot in it to feel that. So don't just go by what it looks like, you know, when you just plonk it on the horse. So after you ride for a few minutes, if you feel like you're tipping down, you know, see if you can move the panels a bit closer together, but you don't want to be pinching the top of the withers, you know, where the bony area is. So if you can't move the panels closer together, you have got your shim pad or your half pad that you can put some front shims into to lift the front of the saddle a little bit as necessary.